Hi, and welcome to another Type with Me. One of the new features that they are now testing out is the Angular control flow. So in this video, I want to talk about this and see if I can tell you or learn to you what it is and how it can improve the Angular templating code. So we all know that we have conditional possibilities within our templating by ngIf, right? So we put ngIf on an element. In this case, it could be an ng container element, but it can also just be a div, right? And when that condition is true, all the sub-elements or child elements are being rendered. So now they are having some kind of a proposal to do add if, and then a statement, and then everything that's in it, it will be rendered out. So if we go to the Angular website, you will see that the built-in control flow is Angular templates support control flow blocks that let you conditionally show, hide, and repeat elements. Angular built-in control flows is in developer preview. It is ready to try, but may change before coming stable. And that's something that's really important to understand, that it's not something that you can use maybe right now, but just play around with it, see what it does, because of course it can still change. They want to have some feedback. The Angular team wants to have some feedback on this, so they bake it all in, but it can still change. I don't suspect too much change on it, but it could be that it just gradually have some minor bits and bits that will change. So if we go to the code, I have here some code with the ngFor, ngIfs, and so on. So you see here, for example, that we have an else, and when we have an else, we can go to the ng template, which is then being rendered out when you have an else here, when your to-do is not being done, right? All right, so let's change this towards the control flow, the new control flow, right? All right, so I need to remove this one, and I also need to say something like this, track, and then you have index, and then here you have this as well. So that's great. One of the things that we also need to do, right, is put this here. All right, so this is our for loop, so that's great. Looks already nicer in my opinion. And then of course we can do the same with if. And like you see here, you can much clearer see how your for loops and also your ifs will behave. So here we are. Again, we put here what needs to be in the if, and I really like it. It's going to give our templatings much more readability, in my opinion. So I think it will really clean out a lot and improve the code of a lot of teams. So I put here this one, and then I put here this into the else statement, and then I gonna remove this one right here. So now we have already our if statement. One of the other things that I also want to show, because I think it's indeed something that's really powerful as well, is when you have a empty array, what could you do? Well, there's a nice trick. You have something like empty right here. And when your array is empty, you can put here no to-dos in the list or something like that. Of course, what you also could do is here if and then to-dos dot length equals 0. Yeah, something else that you could do, right? But okay, right. It's nice that you could have something like, hey, I have a for loop, and you loop over your data results. And if you don't have data results, you just say like, hey, it's empty. It's really powerful. It reads very well, in my opinion. And it also is really descriptive, like, hey, this is empty, do something else. So that's nice. So another thing I think that is really great is putting here something like this, a synchronous code. And what could be better than just put something like this in, right? You have here if users, which is an observable of numbers, and then well, could also do something like this, number whatever, but in our case it's just users, and then of course just use the variable users, right? Because I indeed identified it right here with users from and then 23. So okay, you can very easily use the async pipe also within control flows, which is great. Another thing that I think you have within the control flow is switch. What could be done then, of course, it's something that could be interesting to show here. Switch this one, and then I'm going to put here add case. If the case is 23, you do that, and then here case 24, you do something else. So also a switch case is there. And I think if you see here that it's purple, yeah, it really reads very well, right? So that's something nice to know. Yeah, just another thing that I think is really powerful is the track. You have here to-dos, to-do of to-dos, and then track, and then an index. It really helps to render out and have a performance boost over your templating. So one of the things that you also definitely need to add when you're working with a for loop. I'm really happy about what they are doing within the control flow. I think it will make the templating system of Angular much more readable. I think you will see like, hey, this is a for loop, and it's doing like that. If you have it within your HTML elements like we had before, it's not that much readable. You really need to dig into or see like, hey, did I add an ngIf on top of that element, or did I add an ngFor on that element? And the other thing that I really like is the add empty and the other things, the other sugar that they put onto it as extras that you can have. And of course, one of the things that I was also wondering is how will it work with synchronous data like with observables, because a lot of people will have still code with observables, and then you can just use the pipe here. So within your control flow statements, you can very easily use also Angular pipes, which is a great thing, I think, in my opinion. So I think even other pipes are being possible. So you can do here a value, and then you can manipulate it with a lot of pipes, and then use it further on within your templating system, right? So that's really, really nice. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had something, could get something out of this, and I wish you a great time further on. Thank you for watching and see you next time.